you know why Chris Fedor said we didn't get him? Because we didn't
Wow.
want to add another shot creator into the team yet that would ruin the flow of the ball movement. That's what he said. And is that true? Like, because he said they love running the ball through Garland, and then they love the ball movement and creating shots for each other. But then if Chris Fedor was to say that, and Chris Fedor knows what he's talking about, right? Like, he's a very smart dude, and he said something like that. What does that mean for Colin Sexton's future? Because in the same interview, he said that Sexton and the Cavs want to mutually agree on a contract. So if that's true, if the Cavs didn't like Reddish as another shot creator, why the hell would they like Sexton as another shot creator? Or do they already see maybe Sexton coming back and there would be no need for another dude like Reddish?
I think it might be the second option. It gotta be then. Like, Kobe Altman might have to really extend Colin Sexton, because it's no way you straight face say we don't need a shot creator. Especially if you're going off right now, we don't need another shot creator, when a lot of the people that's questioning us, or at least our offense, is because we just don't have another shot creator. Which must mean, to your point, then Colin Sexton must be the guy.
I think that's what Chris Fedor's hinting at.
Yeah, and I think that might come. I think they believe in Darius Garland and Colin to create shots, create the offense, and they think that two right there could be the dynamic duo offensively, and then they can give Mobley and Jared shots. You know, so that might, that could low-key be an Easter egg to what's gonna happen.
And the question is too, why can't Sexton and Garland? The reason they don't work is because Sexton is a hog. And I'm not afraid to call him a hog. He hogs the ball. It's just what he does. But if Sexton could somewhat do what Donovan Mitchell does, of pass the ball around until you create the right shot, which I think he was trying to do a bit more of. It just was taking a long time. If Donovan Mitchell can guard the two at 6'1", and Sexton's, I think, a more lankier the guy than what Donovan Mitchell is, why couldn't it work? If Sexton did actually start passing the ball and realize that Garland's the guy, why couldn't it work? That's the question I have. And maybe that's what Kobe Altman is saying to himself, is Kobe Altman is probably saying right now that Sexton's value might actually be too low to trade him. Because right now, I think eventually we could get 2 to 3 first-round picks out of Sexton, because the guy's only like 22. But what if secretly right now we don't know that his value's only salary relief and a first-round pick? Then maybe you do contract extend him, right? So maybe that's why they don't want Cam Reddish, because it's just another guy to contract extend in the same year Garland is. Maybe they go, well, we're already going to bring back Sexton on. I hope it's less than $22 million a year. Then you might do it, right?
Yeah, because hold on, let me do a little calculate. Let me get the mighty calculator. $2 million, let's say 5 years. Yeah. So that'd be one. So yeah, I do that. Yeah, because I did say me preferably I would like anything, because I don't think he's going any lower than 100. So let's say 100 to 130 million, and there, what does, if he's doing 22, that's 110 for 5 years. So I think that would be a real deal for us. Yeah,
it could fluctuate to like 23 to 24 million as the years go on, which is super tradable. Could you imagine in year 5 the guy's getting paid like $25 million, and that's when the salary jumps? I don't see why that's not tradable.
Yeah. But I do think he is going to get above 100, because Jared Allen got 100. So realistically, I do think 110, 120, 130 is probably his benchmark. But,
there's one team that could take on Markkanen that could actually give us a little bit more back, and that's, do the Rockets say, because the Rockets want to keep building this really nice young core, right? I know they really need to bring a defender to help out Christian Wood, but do the Rockets say, we're going to move on from Eric Gordon. We'll give you Eric Gordon and one of those Brooklyn first-round picks, which would be like 28 or 29. Do you offer that for Lauri Markkanen? And do the Cavs accept that? Because, Gordon's still on like 2 years of like $16 million a season. And he's like 34 now. But he's just such a solid player. wasting his time on a bad team. So I don't know. What do you think? Do the Rockets rate? Would Markkanen be a guy for them?
I don't even know if Lauri Markkanen truly fits Houston. Mainly because I think they have a lot of, because you're right, they do need a defender at that power forward spot to try to help. But I think they low key want at least Segun and then Kenyon Martin Jr. and all of those forwards to kind of get those minutes. I guess you could argue Lauri Markkanen could play the small forward in Houston as well, but I don't know. I don't think he'd be the guy because defensively, he doesn't solve the problem that you're looking for. Maybe from a size standpoint, yeah, but from a defensive standpoint, no. And then offensively, I think he'd be okay for Houston, but not what they want.
Right. So we've kind of ruled out all our options then. Who do the Cavaliers trade for?
Yeah. That's the tricky part. Because, I mean, the player you got to trade, well, if it's going to be a big name, it's going to be Lauri. But at the same time, it's like, do you want another ball handler? Do you want to try to get a wing? Do you like, if we really wanted a wing, if the price for Cam Reddish was really that low, we could have gave up that for Cam Reddish, right?
Could have.
And not even had to trade Lauri Markkanen. Like, we wouldn't have traded Lauri Markkanen either. We would have had him for essentially free. Yeah. So the trade idea I had really for Cedi Osman, we really could have just gave up Cedi Osman in the second round and we would have been good.
Is there anything else about the Cavs that catches your eye, maybe?
Honestly, is it? Because you talked about Eric Gordon. You talked about Lauri Markkanen. Oh, well, I guess really Ricky Rubio. Like, why do you think the Cavs is really intrigued to trade him now? Because at first it was like when he went down, it was just rumors that it was no doubt we was going to try to extend him as much as possible. But now you're hearing rumors that Ricky Rubio might get traded for players like Eric Gordon, Caris LeVert. Why is he thrown in there?
I don't want to say Chris Fedor said it because I don't think he did, and I don't want Chris Fedor to watch this and be like, I never said I never said Ricky Rubio was getting traded. Someone said it, and I don't know who it was so I'm not going to say this as my official source or anything like this, and that it's officially confirmed, because for all I know, I could have caught it out of the corner of my eye on some unreliable source. Someone mentioned it, and I swear it was someone like a decently known reporter that said that if something was to happen and they couldn't move on from Markkanen, teams out there are intrigued by Ricky Rubio, right? And it would make sense. Like, teams out there like the Celtics and that would love to have Ricky Rubio on the team. It's just that they know there's a big chance he might not come back and might never ever play a game for them and might never step foot in their arena and stadium. But it makes me wonder, with the Cavaliers now having Rajon Rondo as a minimum guy and Brandon Goodwin playing really, really solid basketball and Darius Garland killing it, how many more and Sexton apparently getting extended, how many more guards do you need? That's the question.
Well,
but you just don't want to let Ricky Rubio walk for free, do you?
No. Because then I was going to throw at you, like, since you was talking about Marcus Smart, would you trade Ricky Rubio for Smart?
No.
You wouldn't do that? Okay.
Nah. I don't want Marcus Smart on the Cavaliers. Don't do it. If Kobe Altman's watching this, don't get me Marcus Smart. Something about him, I just don't like the way he plays.
Why not? I mean, he might be a little dirty from time to time.
No, not that. I don't care. I don't care if he smacks someone in the head. I don't like how he's such a great defender and all of that, but can't do anything else. Like, his 3-point shooting it's always the same. It's always 31%, like, every year. You never know. He's never going to get better, I don't think. His shot creating is not great. I want a guy that can at least, hit a shot consistently. And I think we already have that. So I don't think we need Marcus Smart at all. Are you more higher on him than I am?
you really do like Marcus Smart. I probably wouldn't trade him for Rubio though,
Yeah.
but I really would. You know, I think he'd be decent. But like you said, we do have a lot of guards. So, and the only position we are really, really lackluster in is our small forward position, which, you know, I'm going to beat that until the horse is completely dead. And I think we should get a wing. I just don't know who that wing is going to be.
Yeah.
Because I've seen Joe Ingles. Get thrown in there. You know,
I mean, that's a free agency type thing more than anything. If you want Joe Ingles, you're not going to go out and trade for him at this point. And I think Ingles will stay. I don't think Ingles will ever leave the Jazz until he has to leave the Jazz. So it's, and also would Ingles be on the verge of retiring? Because what people don't know about this is Ingles and his wife. His wife is actually his wife was a very big netballer in Australia. Do you know what netball is?
No.
You've never heard of netball?
No.
Okay, so netball is the biggest female sport in the United Kingdom, I believe, Australia, New Zealand, those countries. So basically, it's like basketball, but there's no backboard and you can't bounce a ball. Once you catch the ball, you have to stand. You can pivot your foot around, but you have to stand, right? You may have seen it somewhere, yeah. So she's really good at that, but they also have a son who has, I think, autism. And I think they've struggled a bit there. So in my opinion, Ingles would either stay in Utah or return to Australia. So I've seen a lot of teams talk about maybe trading for Ingles, and I don't think he would go. I have a feeling if Ingles was to get traded, he would call it quits and go play Australian basketball, you know what I mean? So, and his wife, he was a really good netballer that probably wants to go back to Australia to commentate, coach, do her thing, right? And I just don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I think I have that feeling. So would you take the risk though? Would you trade for him or would you sign him in free agency? Or do you think Ingles is done in the league if he leaves?
I don't think he's done, but I would try to sign him.
Yeah.
Because right now, I don't think we really have... Well, we got the assets to trade for him, but I don't think it makes sense for us to trade those assets for a player that's going to be available. You know? I think he's one of those players you just if you don't get him in free agency, it is what it is. You know? So, because I think Ingles knows he got a lot of value in the league. Like a lot of people, a lot of teams like Joe Ingles. Cleveland can use him. The Lakers can use him. Utah can use him. Like, it's a lot of teams that can use the services of
Do you remember what he said when Rona was happening in the bubble? He actually, I think he tweeted out, he actually said that he was contemplating retiring, going back to the NBL and going and playing there. Yeah. So that makes me think that I don't know if this guy would leave. Like, if this guy had to leave the Jazz, would he really... He doesn't need the money. He's on a lot of money, you know what I mean? He'd get money in Australia too. How much does Joe Ingles need the NBA anymore?
I don't think he needs it, or especially at this age, part of his life, his age of his life, whatever. He don't necessarily need it, but at the same time, I don't think he's done with it yet. Yeah. Because I think he could, like I said, he can milk a couple, not no large contract, but he can milk a couple more like $5 to $7 million contracts.
Worst would be like $3 million as well. Like, that's the worst he would get.
And he can also be on a couple of contending teams, like championship contender teams. Like, I could even see the Warriors trying to sign him, honestly. Like,
that was a report, yeah.
You know, so I can see, which is why I don't think he would just leave, you know. And even if he did leave, I don't think it would be for long. Like, it'd be one season, then he'd be back. Kind of like Lance Stephenson, kind of, but you know.
Yeah, Stevenson, isn't he on his third 10-day contract? Like, that's so funny to me to think. Why don't they just sign him at this point? Give him the.
They had said they had did it, but it was an incorrect report.
Yeah, Ingles actually, you know, he does a lot of off-court stuff too. Like, his, you know, son, of course, has autism and stuff like that, and I think it's, you know, pretty high. When I said bad earlier, I think that was the wrong word. I think it's not obviously a bad thing necessarily. It's just it's a difficult thing to process, especially for a family, that has so much on their plate already. But Ingles, I think, has been doing a lot of like autism awareness stuff on the side too. So like, I don't know if he wants to base something like that in Utah or if he'd do that in Australia. But dude's got a lot on his plate. I don't know if he will. I just don't have a feeling that he would leave the Jazz. But hey, the Cavaliers would be a team. Like, he would add 3-point shooting. He'd be another dude that could ball handle if we had another guy get injured. Great passer. Can move the ball around. Can guard really the 1, 2, and 3. Not a solid defender, but he does the job. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think this whole entire guard wing thing for the Cavaliers is going to be interesting because you look at it now. Garland, Goodwin, Rubio, Rondo, Sexton, Windler's still there, Okoro. There are a lot of wings on this team. People don't realize that the Cavaliers have like one center and Ed Davis. We don't really have any center depth at all, do we?
No, but I think they supplemented, but by like, because a lot of people, because because like anybody that watched the games, y'all know how they had obviously they have Mobley, Jarrett start, but then as soon as something happens, they had just pit Mobley at that 5, then take Jarrett out, pick K-Love at the 4, and that'd be their version of a small ball, even though it's not small ball at all. Then they take out Mobley, pick K-Love at the 5, then they pit Jarrett out. They literally just alternated. So if they were to get another 5, I think he would probably be in the same situation as Ed Davis.
I agree. I think the only time we'd need to get another 5 is if COVID hit again, right?
Yeah, which I think that was the reason they kept Ed Davis, just in case that happened again, because it was a situation where we was out from Jarrett, Evan Mobley, and the only pick we had available technically was K-Love and Larry, which we ended up alternating him, Ed Davis, and K-Love around. So, and then we tried to play Taco Fall too. We had him. Because that's who was really supposed to be that other center, but Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. You can't really say anything about Taco because you don't want to get flamed in the comments. For being honest. You don't want to be that guy. But yeah, the Cavaliers, they're super interesting. Oh, a part of me also says, I don't know if I want to give Ingles $3 million when we've already got Windler on $4 million. You almost just want to keep developing that guy who's already there. So
question: would you try out Lamar Stevens at the small forward position?
Yeah. Well, naturally, Lamar Stevens is a small forward, right?
Yeah.
But in 2K, he's a power forward. Which doesn't make any sense. Also, 2K, if you're watching this, fix his face scan up, please. Like, oh my God, he looks so bad. And he's still a 71 overall player, like.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Through the wastelands, through the highways, and